So does that justify everything that you do?
Excuse me, let me tell you something. What do you think they were doing it for? Because they were trying to save us from poverty? No, they did it because they needed us. It's honor and family and loyalty. And some of us wanted a piece of the action. Now, we weren't educated like the Americans, but we had the balls to take what we wanted.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another live edition of On The Go right here on Driving to the Top Productions, where I usually come on here and I say I'm Big Hoss, but for the start of the show, I'm coming to you as the man, Marcus. People know my name. If you don't, I'm speaking as myself, Marcus. It's Wednesday, September 10th, and I'm going to start the show off on a different note. Before we get to all the stuff and fun talk with sports and everything, I just needed to make an address real quick of the tragic events that happened earlier today. We lost an American patriot. We lost a man who not only had the love for his country, a political activist and author, a media personality, Charlie Kirk, who was tragically assassinated speaking at a campus in Utah. One thing about Charlie Kirk, he was a co-founder and he was the co-founder of Turning Point USA, and he was also an executive director for them. He was the CEO of Turning Point Action and a member of the Council of National Policy. Washington Post even described him as one of the most prominent voices on the right in his later years. This man would go to campuses and have debates with people where there's no violence. He doesn't protest. He doesn't antagonize and causes chaos. He gives people their words and he argues with them about it. But what happened today on this horrific day puts a dark cloud on all of us. What happened today was unreal. And I just speak on behalf of, as a fellow American, this is, when is this going to end? I send my condolences, to his family, his friends, his loved ones, the people he's worked with. The fact that not only he was a husband and a father of two young ones, that hurts even more to know his family, especially his kids, who are too little to know what happened to their father, that they'll never see him again. And what sickens me the most about all this is the people on social media that are celebrating what happened to him in this horrific tragedy. It sickens me. And I don't usually get on here and want to start any chaos myself and everything, but I'm just going to go off the limb and say this. As an American, fuck all liberals. If you were one who celebrated this man's death, this was a political assassination. If you were one of many people that celebrated this, I say this with all due respect, go fuck yourself. If you are liberal and supported this and loved all of this and you're a watcher of this, I ask this with kindness, please log the fuck off. I don't want nothing to do with you if you're into shit like this. This has got to stop. We got to be better than this. And yes, we will never agree with everything. We are such a divided country, it's unreal. And I'm not going to be the type to get into politics on this show. I would never do that. But I am in loss of words with how this day went, especially not knowing how the world's going to be the next day. The world is such an evil and dangerous place. You never know when is your last. When you wake up in the morning, count your blessings, thank God for another day, and keep on living your dream and living your day. because you never know when your last will come, especially with what tomorrow is. Today is September 10th. When you wake up tomorrow, be sure to thank God for another day, because we also have another dark day approaching us. Remember, never forget what happened 24 years ago. Always remember, where were you when that horrific tragedy happened? Me, I could say 24 years ago, where was I? I was in the 6th grade. Probably was either just getting to school or I was just starting school for the day when that tragedy happened in New York. Remember getting called to the gymnasium and it was so crowded. You're talking about 2001, box TV, can't really see what's going on. I didn't really realize that was a terrorist attack until I got home from school and it was all over the news and how scared I was. So when you wake up tomorrow, never forget what happened on that day as well. Count your blessings. Thank God for today. Check on your loved ones and go forward. So again, all due respect to those who are horrified by this. I can't imagine, especially those who were in attendance for his campus event, the ones who witnessed that assassination. My heart goes out to those people as well, because how you're going to recover from that? I would be traumatized if I've witnessed a murder, an assassination like that. I don't know what I would do with myself. And to the person, the evil person that posted it on social media, that's how I've seen it. And that was horrific. I'm so glad they found a way to take it off of social media, because I do not recommend to go see that. It is horrifically graphic. It's devastating. This country is already in enough shit. And then now with this that happened, I'm just speechless. I really don't want to talk more about what the future is going to hold with this country or whatnot. All I just know is if you were a fan of what happened and was happy about it, just take a look at yourself in the mirror, because you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But anyhow, let's just drop this. I mean, God bless America. God bless all of you. I appreciate the love and support. But I thought I'd just try and bring some positivity in this show, because I know this was a horrific tragedy in this country. And I pray we never see anything like this ever again. I think I've rested my case on this. So I'm here to. I know a lot of people are saddened and grieving or anger with everything that happened. And if you're tuning in today, I'm here to make it better. We're gonna get through this, especially during this time. I got this American Brick cross that I usually wear occasionally, and I always wear it around this time, especially with 9/11 coming. To know that as Americans, no matter what takes us down, we always find a way to get back up, because we're strong. We're America. God bless America. God bless President Trump and everything he's done. God bless everybody. So with that being said, we're going to have some fun today. We're going to get positivity on this show. So without any further ado, you know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on X at BigHoss337. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel. The show On The Go you can find on X and on Instagram at OnTheGo_TXLA. And, of course, Driving to the Top Productions. Find them on all social media as well. Driving to the Top on X. Subscribe to them on YouTube as well. Now I got a big show ahead of you guys. We got a lot of stuff to talk about across I-10 from H-Town to NOLA. And I want to start on a good note here. So I got some good and a little bit of bad for H-Town. So we're going to go ahead and kick this off in the 713. Let's take it to H-Town. Let's get this positivity rolling. Let's go. Well, welcome to the land where it just don't stop. Trunks pop, tops drops, in the front end hop. And I go, they always ask me, I go on and on. I can't understand how I last so long. I'm going too short here. But where I get all this energy from, you see it right below me. POGGERS, the official vitamin supplement of On The Go. And I want you to have the same energy as me, whether you're looking for energy, hydration, or if you need sleeping products. Go to shop.poggers.shop. Tell them Big Hoss sent you. And use that promo code right there, OTG, to get 10% off of your order. Poggers, the official vitamin supplement of On The Go. And we're going to continue this now. We're going to start positive. Let's start on a good note. If I'm going to talk about something positive that happened in H-Town, I want to start with the Houston Cougars, because this past Saturday, they showed who's the most dominant college program in H-Town. And that's them Cougars. Throw them U of H's up. The Bayou Bucket is coming back to the red and white campus. They beat Rice 35-9 this past weekend. Here's a couple numbers from this matchup. So for the Cougars, offense, let's see, 14 first downs. They were 9 for 16 in third down efficiency, 0 for 1 in fourth down. 395 total yards combined. 188 yard in receiving, 207 total in rushing. Connor Wegman, a quarterback, had a great night. He went 15 for 22. One touchdown pass to Stephon Johnson for 74 yards there. Good there. A few leaders in rushing. Dean Connors led in rushing, 132 total rushing yards on 13 carries, and he had 2 touchdowns. Stacy Sneed had 9 carries for 36 yards. Even Connor Wegman had a couple of rushing yards himself, 23 as is the number, with 10 carries. 37 total carries, by the way, for the rushing, with 207 total rushing yards. Stephon Johnson led in receiving, and it was that 1 touchdown catch for 74 yards. Tanner Kazoil had 6 catches for 52 yards, where the receiving end, 15 total receptions with 188 total receiving yards. Also, there was a pick 6 in the game. Will James had a pick 6 for 37 yards and a touchdown, so the defense was on fire. Along with that pick 6, 92 total tackles, 34 solo, 8 tackles for a loss, and 3 sacks, courtesy of guys from Sion Fotu, Corey Platt Jr., even a pair of Brandon Mack and Eddie Walls together making a sack. So Houston looked good. And I think I want to say for the first time since 2013, the Houston Cougars are 2-0. They're starting off the season undefeated. And they need to keep this ball rolling. And let me tell you what's next for the Cougars. They got a big one coming up, and it's going to be on a Friday night, by the way. So Friday, September 12th, they go into conference play. They welcome in Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. Colorado coming in this matchup 1-1 of this season. Only their second meeting ever with the Buffaloes. And the first meeting was back in 1971, where they played at the Blue Bonnet Bowl in the Astrodome. Colorado won 29-17. So this is going to be a big-time matchup. A couple of key players to watch on this team. Caden Salter, who leads in rushing, 261 total rushing yards, and he had a touchdown this season. Simeon Pierce, 14 carries for 85 yards. He's another guy to watch out for. Sincere Brown, 4 receptions, 120 yards and 1 touchdown. He leads in receiving for the Buffaloes, and leading in tackles as linebacker Reginald Hughes with 14 tackles this season. And a little mixed up here. Caden Salter's the quarterback. He threw for 261 yards this season and only 1 touchdown pass. Simeon Price leads in rushing for Colorado. So it's going to be a big-time matchup, and it's prime time, remember, not just because Deion Sanders will be there. It will be on national television. It's a Friday night matchup. I want to say it's a 6:30 kickoff on ESPN. Going to be a good challenge for Houston. So if I have to go with if Houston could pull this off and go 3-0, I say there is a slight chance it could happen. Because I'm also going. I think UH gets a big win at home. They move to 2-1 of the season, and they go 1-0 in the conference. Let's get that win, baby. Let's get that dub. I actually got one more thing Houston Cougar related, but it doesn't relate to football. It relates to another sport they dominate. So I came across earlier today the Houston Cougars 2025 non-conference basketball schedule. Now, remember, last year, Houston had another historic season, a Final Four appearance, national championship appearance where they just came up short with the Florida Gators. They have 14 total non-conference games this season already lined up. And here's a little sneak peek of what you're going to see in non-conference play. They're going to take on 4 SEC opponents in 4 different locations. They're going to take on Mississippi State, but not at the Fertitta Center. They're actually going to play this in a neutral site venue. They're going to be playing this in Rosenberg. I think it's called the Fort Bend Expo Center, that brand new arena they built in Rosenberg. They're going to play Mississippi State over there early in the season. They're going to take on Auburn in a neutral site matchup. They're going to play that in Birmingham, actually. By the way, it's the Battleground 2K25 matchup. So they're going to play Auburn in Birmingham. Another SEC team they're going to play. They're going to play Tennessee, but they're going to play them in the Players Area Championship tournament in Vegas. It's one of their matchups. And then they're going to take on Arkansas at a neutral site. They're going to play in the Never Forget Tribute Classic in Newark, New Jersey against the Arkansas Razorbacks. That's 4 SEC teams they're going to take on. A couple of home non-conference games in their actual home, the Fertitta Center. They're going to take on the likes of Lehigh, Towson, Oakland, Rider, Jackson State, University of New Orleans, and Mid-Tennessee. One of their home games, another home game they're going to have as a neutral site, but they're going to play this at the Toyota Center, the home of the Houston Rockets. They're going to play Florida State in that big venue. So you got 2 other home games that you're not going to play at your actual home. You're going to play at like a home away from home. Mississippi State's one of them. They're going to play that in Rosenberg, and Florida State will be played at the Toyota Center in downtown Houston. Meanwhile, they're also going to be they're going to play 3 games in Vegas, like I said, in the Players Area Championship. One of those teams is going to be Tennessee. Another team is going to be Syracuse. So that all eyes are going to be on that one. A team like Syracuse taking on a team like Houston. That's going to be a marquee matchup. There possibly a third matchup. This is kind of like, I think it's like a round robin style tournament. So if they can win their games against like Tennessee and Syracuse, they can play a third game, which opponent is yet to be determined. But that's the official non-conference opponents they got lined up for the upcoming 2025 season. When the schedule actually drops, I'll pop back up again, probably bring these as a reminder, and then give out their conference opponents you're going to see for the 2025 season for Houston basketball. Moving on in H-Town, I'm just going to bring this team up because I haven't really talked much about them, but I got to go with some Astros talk. It's been a while. I know they're currently playing in a series right now with the Toronto Blue Jays. They lost yesterday's game in extra innings. I want to say it was 5-4. I don't have no numbers to give, but I just have like what's remaining left for the Houston Astros for the season. So they're currently in Toronto right now. They lost 4-3 yesterday in extra innings. And breaking news, just alert, they beat the Blue Jays on the road 3-2. So the series is tied 1-1. They play one more matchup tomorrow afternoon, 2:07 p.m. Central on the MLB Network. Before they hit the road again, here's what I want to bring up on Astros Talk. We're going to bring up some numbers. We're going to bring up remaining schedule, the standings are in baseball and everything. So this coming weekend, they got the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta, little 2021 World Series rematch. Then they come back at home, the final Lone Star Series of the season. They play a 3-game series with the Rangers at home, September 15th through the 17th. This will close out to see who's going to take home the silver boot during the offseason, which I haven't really checked the numbers lately, but I think it's about even. But 9 times out of 10, whoever wins that series, I think is going to walk away with the silver boot. They get an off day a week from tomorrow. And then next weekend, September 19th through the 21st, is going to be a very important series because this could determine who's going to clinch the AL West. They go to Seattle. Actually, no, correction. They host Seattle, so that's even better. The Seattle Mariners are coming to town to play for a division title. This is a much important series because this is going to determine their fate in the playoffs, whether they go in as a division champ or a wild card, or if they even get in the playoffs. So mark that down. And I'm sending an open invitation out. I know it's really football season, but I can do a bonus episode. If there's any Seattle fan out there that loves those Mariners and they want to come and talk a little championship series for that division title along with the Astros and Mariners, give your boy Big Hoss a holler. Get with me, get with Adam on Driving to the Top. I think his username's at Hurricane. We could get something lined up. So, yeah, I'm calling out any Seattle fan out there that want to come talk baseball on the go with yours truly. Do a little series preview. Get with us. We'll make it happen. I doubt they got any potential pitching starting lineups when that one comes. I know the Astros hadn't decided yet, but it looks like on the September 19th game, Brian Wu will be on the mound for Seattle for that day. Saturday's matchup. Looks like it's going to be George Kirby. They're going to be George Kirby versus Hunter Brown for the September 20th matchup. And then September 21st will be Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Logan Gilbert, I guarantee it's going to be Framber Valdez. If this will be a primetime game and it's for a division title, you want to put your ace on the mound. You got to put Framber Valdez against Logan Gilbert. That would be determine your division title right there. Then after that, that's actually their final home series too of the regular season. They'll close out with two more. They go to Sacramento to play the A's, and then they close out the regular season at the end of the month with the Angels of Anaheim. And then it will determine where they stand with the division and the playoffs and whatnot. So with that win, that'll put the Astros now at 79-67 of the season. They're still first in the AL West. They're fifth in the American League and 10th overall in Major League Baseball. Meanwhile, the Seattle Mariners sit at 77-68, so they're 2 games ahead of Seattle. If they could keep winning like this, they could get to that 80-win column. They could be in the driver's seat of locking that division title in even before they play Seattle. So just keep on winning. I don't even know what the magic number is to clinch that division title, but just keep on winning like you did today. I know they had some issues with the Yankees and all that. That's the last time I watched the Astros was when they lost to the Yankees, and we need to keep that going because as I close out my H-Town talk, I got a bone to pick with this team, the Houston Texans. Are you trying to piss me off like the Houston Dynamo's been? Don't be what the Dynamo is right now. This is your first game of the season, and you fall to the LA Rams 14-9. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when I last saw the rankings for every team in the NFL, the Houston Texans are dead last because they didn't score any touchdowns. All 9 points were 3 field goals. And you're thinking, well, how are they dead last? Miami got decimated by the Colts. Miami scored a touchdown. Y'all didn't. You kicked 3 field goals. You had 18 first downs the whole game. You went 2 for 9 in third down efficiency. You were 1 for 1 in fourth down. 265 total yards. And C.J. Stroud threw 1 interception, and the Texans had 2 turnovers. That's not going to cut it. And C.J. Stroud had 188 passing yards. He went 19 for 27, and he had 1 interception. Nick Chubb led in rushing, 13 carries for 60 yards. C.J. Stroud had 5 carries for 32 yards, 27 total carries for the offense, 114 total rushing yards. Meanwhile, on the receiving end, Jaden Higgins led in receiving, 2 catches for 32 yards. Xavier Hutchinson wasn't far behind him, 2 catches for 30 yards. Dalton Schultz had 3 catches for 28 yards. Justin Watson had 2 for 27 yards. And Nico Collins, I thought, would have did better than that. 3 catches for 25 total yards. 19 total receptions with 188 total receiving yards. Defensive side, I'm not going to complain too much on the defense. 61 total tackles, 38 solo tackles, 5 tackles for a loss, and 3 sacks courtesy of Henry Toto, Will Anderson Jr., and Folorenzo Fadokoski, if I said his name right, which, I probably didn't.
If one of y'all says some silly-ass name, this whole class is going to feel my wrath.
And now the Texans are in the hot seat of potentially going 0-2. Because who you got next? You got a team that not only got a win this past Sunday, a struggle win, You got a team that's favored to win a division. You got Tampa Bay on a Monday night, your home opener, by the way, and no one has confidence in you winning. Tampa Bay coming off a 23-20 win over the Falcons this past weekend. Baker Mayfield, 167 total passing yards and 3 touchdown passes in that game. Emeka Egbuka, however I say his name right, 4 catches for 67 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's 2 key players you want to watch on this one. But overall, this will be the 7th meeting. Texans have won 5 in a row against this team. They're 5-1. The last time they played the Falcons was not the Falcons. The last time they played the Bucks was back in 2023. Texans won it in a nail biter, 39-37. But the way things are going, I don't have faith in this team to win. They probably will start slow if they're still favored to win the AFC South, which they still could. They're probably going to be one of the teams that's going to start slow and maybe finish strong. But I see them starting 0-2. So you heard that early prediction before I give the rest of my NFL ones later. But that's all I got for the H-Town talk. But this show is far from over. I got plenty more to talk about. But now let's go ahead and take it in my neck of the woods. Let's take it to the 337. Let's go. Now you're in my neck of the woods. And, man, we had somewhat of a civil war ourselves this past weekend. Especially in my area, it was like house divided. You had the blue and gold versus the red and black. You call it the Battle of I-10. You call it the Cajun Crown, whatever you want to call it. McNeese versus UL. Cowboys versus Raging Cajuns. I was in attendance for that game at, by the way, I will give a shout out to the Raging Cajuns on this. Your major upgrade in your football stadium, which was always known as Cajun Field, but now it's got a new name, Our Lady of Lourdes Stadium at Cajun Field. But, we're still going to call it Cajun Field. I will say, very beautiful state-of-the-art facility. They needed a serious major upgrade, and my God, did they get it, and it looks fantastic. So I will give a shout-out to the Raging Cajuns for that, and I will still give them a shout-out. They got their first win of the season. They beat the McNeese Cowboys 34-10. McNeese took their first loss of the season. So now both teams are 1-1. I was in the game for this attendance, and I'm going to say I was actually, despite some numbers on offense, the defense did good. It was a close game till the fourth quarter, and then UL just ran them over. But it was a fun experience. I went to the last 3 meetings in 2007, 2016, and then just a few days ago. UL's won the last 2 meetings. McNeese hadn't won since 2007, but I was there for it. Here's some couple numbers here. Since the Cajuns won, we'll start with them. They had 25 first downs, 4 and 11 in third down efficiencies, 2 for 3 in fourth downs. They had 401 total yards combined, 86 passing and 315 rushing. Now Walker Howard is out. I think he's out for the season, but the backup, Daniel Bill, had a great night, 14 for 22, 86 total passing yards. He had 1 touchdown pass to Landon Baptiste for 10 yards. Bill Davis led in rushing, 9 carries for 132 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Zylan Perry had 14 carries for 94 yards. Stephen Blanco, 6 carries for 69 yards and a touchdown. 45 total carries and 315 total rushing yards. Meanwhile, on the receiving end, Darius Wade led in receiving. He only had 1 catch for 19 yards. Robert Williams, we heard his name get called a bit. 2 catches for 18 yards, but I feel like we've heard it more than once. Zylan Perry had 1 catch for 13 yards, and of course, Baptiste had 1 for a 10-yard touchdown. The receiving end had 14 total receptions and 86 total yards, where the defense had 47 total tackles, 31 solo, 1 sack courtesy of Caleb Caboti, and 2 tackles for a loss. Where on the McNeese side, McNeese had 14 first downs, went 4 for 12 in third down efficiency, 2 for 3 in fourth down. 238 total yards. They dominated in the passing game, 191 total passing yards and 47 total rushing yards. Jake Strong, he did good at quarterback, 19 for 30, 191. Yeah, he did throw an interception. But he didn't do too good in rushing. He had -2 yards in rushing on 8 carries. The defense stopped him momentously. But the other strong, Bryce, he led in rushing, 7 carries for 17 yards. Jalen Thompson had 3 carries for 16. Trevante Citizen, shout out to him, Lake Charles native, 5 carries for 11 yards. The only touchdown in the game was courtesy of Devin Lipple. They had 3 carries for 5 yards and a rushing touchdown. I think that was about a yard or 2-yard touchdown. They were in the red zone when it happened. 26 total carries, 47 total rushing yards. On the receiving end, Josh Jackson led in receiving, 4 catches for 83 yards. Logan Malden had 2 catches for 30 yards. And Trevante Citizen had 3 catches for 18 yards. 19 total receptions, 191 total receiving yards. Meanwhile, the defense, 60 total tackles, 44 solo, 1 sack courtesy of Landon Barrett, and 6 tackles for a loss. But again, like I said, it was a close game, majority till about the 4th quarter. It was 7-7 at the end of the first. When we got to halftime, I think it was 17-7. But McNeese kicked a field goal in the 3rd quarter, making it 17-10. And then it was just all gas, no brakes for the Cajuns. 2 rushing touchdowns in the second half and a field goal or 2. Even though their kicker had a bad night, the kicker missed 2 easy chip field goals, but somehow got back into making field goals towards like the end of the 3rd quarter going into the 4th. However, it was a great atmosphere. By the way, the weather was fantastic. Towards the end, we had a little breeze. It got in the 70s. Because when I first got there, it was scorching ass hot. It was about 85 degrees at kickoff, but by the end of the night, it got to about 72 degrees. It was tremendous weather. And it sucks that we don't ever get this rivalry every single year like we do for like basketball and baseball and whatnot. If we do get this matchup, we get it like once every like 7 to 10 years. And it was nice to have it. That's why anytime these two meet on the football field, it's a must-be to be there. And it's always a debatable argument to see whose side am I going to pick on. And judging by the look of it, the last 3 meetings, whoever I picked lost that game. So 2007, I was repping the Cajuns, planning on going to school there. McNeese got the win. And then the last 2 games, I've repped McNeese, the Cajuns win. So it's like, if you want to know who's going to win this football matchup, just look at what I'm wearing. Then they're not going to win. I feel like I bring bad luck in that one, but I'm going to call it now. If we ever, somewhere down the road, if they ever meet again, I'm going to see if it happens on role reverse. I will wear Raging Cajuns for the next matchup. And by God, if McNeese wins that one, then it's me. I'm the one that's role reversing this decision. So, all right. So what's next for these two? McNeese will be back at home this Saturday, Navarre Stadium, the Hole. They take on the Weber State Wildcats, who are trying to get their first win of the season. They're 0-2. They fell 48-3 to Arizona this past weekend. Quarterback Jackson Gilkey, probably their only key player. In just 2 games, he had 152 passing yards combined for 2 games. Where the Raging Cajuns, they're going to be hitting the road for the next 2 weeks. First, they go to Columbia. They go take on an SEC opponent in the Missouri Tigers. First ever meeting between these two, by the way. I know it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, and it's going to be televised. Not 100% sure what network it's on. I'm going to assume it's either ESPNU, SEC Network. I digress. I'll have to look into that. But I know they're coming off a 42-31 win over the Kansas Jayhawks, that little rivalry they got. Missouri's 25 in the country. They're 2-0. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, and it's on ESPN Plus. So if you got the ESPN app, you got ESPN Plus, you want to watch this matchup, then you're good to go. If I had to pick winners in these games, I'll start with McNeese. They really are a good football team. They just had a tough opponent in the Raging Cajuns. I feel like this will be a bounce-back win for them, so I'm going to take McNeese winning over Weber State, where the Cajuns, they're about to get loss number 2. I have them probably getting decimated. If I had to predict a score here, I would say 55-7 Missouri over the Raging Cajuns. And that's all I got for the talk in my neck of the woods. Let's take it to another special place. Are you ready? Let's go to Tigerland, baby. Let's go to the 225. As you can see, I'm wearing gold because not only does LSU have another home game this weekend, it's the world iconic signature gold game. So hear me out. If you're going to the LSU-Florida matchup, wear gold. Now, that can mean one or two things or maybe both. Usually when it's the gold game, that means everyone in the crowd is wearing gold. Especially with it being a night game, Death Valley is going to be lit gold, courtesy of the fans in attendance. It also could mean they could be wearing these gold jerseys that they brought back a year ago when they beat Vanderbilt in these. I don't know, but the only thing I know is they probably won't wear the gold jerseys because last I looked, Florida's wearing, they announced their uniform combo. They're supposed to wear orange helmets, blue jersey, blue pants. So that means LSU is going to wear their traditional look. White on gold. I mean, gold on white on gold, which ain't nothing wrong with that. Speaking of LSU, I really didn't get to watch much of this because I was at the McNeese UO game, but I do have some numbers for it. I did watch a bit of the first quarter, but LSU gets a 23-7 win over Louisiana Tech. Here's some numbers for the Fighting Tigers. 27 first downs in this game, 9 for 16 in third down efficiency, 365 total yards in this game, 237 passing, 128 rushing. Now, Garrett Nussmeier, he had an average game, I will say. He went 26 for 41, 237 passing yards. He had one touchdown pass courtesy to Nick Anderson for 7 yards. He did throw one interception. So, like I said, not everyone's going to have their very best game. Despite this being a win, this might have been Garrett Nussmeier's worst performance so far this season. I felt like he played a lot better against Clemson than he did against Louisiana Tech, which seems odd to say. Harlem Berry led in rushing in this matchup, 6 carries for 56 yards. Xavier Thomas also had 6 carries for 54 yards. So he was 2 yards shy of tying Harlem Berry there. Caden Durham had 13 carries for 29 yards plus a rushing touchdown. Barian Brown led in receiving, 8 receptions for 94 yards. Aaron Anderson had also 8 receptions, but for 73 yards. Xavier Thomas, 4 catches for 35 yards. Nick Anderson, 3 catches for 17 yards, including a touchdown catch for 7. The defense themselves, 61 total tackles, 23 solo, 2 sacks, or a pair of sacks, courtesy of Wes Weeks with Jack Pyburn and Whit Weeks with Jordan Gilbert combined, together making 2 sacks and 5 tackles for a loss in this one. You figured they'd have played a little bit better against a team like Louisiana Tech, but there was also, I've heard that, as if it's true, Brian Kelly pulled a lot of his starters out in the second half, especially to get them all rested and ready to go for whenever they get ready for Florida, which, to be honest, that's kind of a smart move. I mean, you don't want to risk getting your star player like a Garrett Nussmeier, a Caden Durham, or a Whit Weeks hurt. I get that. I know people were criticizing that we should have blew them out 63-7, or Garrett Nussmeier shouldn't have threw an interception. I mean, you're going to have your bad days, folks. I mean, look at Joe Burrow. I mean, when he won the Heisman, his bad game was Auburn, even though they did win that game. He almost blew it. And I was there for that. But it's time to move forward. They're now 2-0. They're still the number 3 team in the country. Still a heavy favorite to make the college football playoff, and a potential favorite of a Lee Corso to win the national championship, which we still hope it happens. Now they go into SEC play for the first time this season, and they take on an old foe in the Florida Gators, led by a potential Heisman contender, or was a Heisman contender, DJ Lagway. But let's say it sucks to be a Florida Gator, and it sucks to be a Florida Gator, because Florida got upset by South Florida 18-16. DJ Lagway, 342 passing yards and 4 touchdowns in that game. No, 222 passing yards. All right, I read that wrong. Okay. DJ Lagway went 23 for 33. He had 222 passing yards and 1 touchdown and 1 interception in that game alone. This season, Lagway threw over 342 passing yards, he threw 4 touchdowns this season and 1 interception. So there was my correction right there. He already threw over 300 yards this season, but in that game against South Florida, he threw for over 200 yards. So I made that one correct. Other key players to watch in this matchup, Jaden Bogg, who leads in rushing, 27 carries for 197 yards this season. Vernell Brown III, he's another impact player to watch. So far this season, he had 8 receptions for 135 yards. And on the defense, Eugene Wilson III. Actually, correct that again. Damn. Eugene Wilson leads in receiving and touchdown catches. He's caught more receiving touchdowns this season than any other wide receiver. I think he's only caught like 1 or 2. He's the only guy, it's the only receiver that scored this season. No, who you need to watch for on defense is actually 2 players. Jaden Robinson and Miles Graham. They lead in tackles for the Gators defense this season. They've both had a combined 14 total tackles on defense. So that's some key players to watch out for on this Florida team. But however, when it comes to this rivalry, this will be the 72nd meeting between the Tigers and the Gators. This is a back and forth rivalry, but as of right now, Florida leads this rivalry at 34 wins, 32 losses, and 3 ties. Florida won last year's meeting. I'll never forget that. After they broke a 5-game win streak courtesy of LSU. But Florida hasn't beaten LSU in Death Valley since 2016. It's been 9 years. And we got to keep that stretching. Cannot let Florida win. It's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be a good one to watch. But LSU is going to win this football game. I'm going to predict a score here. I entered it on contest with the Jennings Daily News. I think I said 26-13 LSU over Florida. So that's a potential good score to predict there. I'll say 26-13 LSU. So we'll go from there. Before we move any further, I got one more thing LSU related I'm very excited to share about. But yesterday, the 2026 baseball schedule for the defending national champion LSU Fighting Tigers dropped yesterday, and we're going to go over this real quick. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. We're on the quest to repeat. Can they do it again like they did in 96 and 97? Let's hope. I know we lost a lot of players in the draft, but never say never. Let's hope they can do it and win number 9. But here's what we got so far for the 2026 schedule. They're going to have a total of 37 home games at the box, 7 home series, and 16 single home game matchups that you'll even see mainly on the weeknights. They're going to open up the season with the University of Wisconsin at Milwaukee, the Panthers. That's who they open up with. They also going to be hitting the road for a neutral site series. They're going to play in Jacksonville, Florida. I don't know what the series is called, but they're going to be taking on the likes of Indiana, Notre Dame, and UCF up in Jacksonville. They're going to have 20 road games this year. That's including conference opponents. When it comes to in-state matchups, they're going to be playing, I think, 9 in-state opponents at home. If I'm correct, they open it up with Nichols. Then you got McNeese, Grambling, Louisiana Tech, Southern, Northwestern State, University of New Orleans, Southeastern Louisiana, and Tulane at home. So 9 in-state opponents in the box. They're only going to play 1 in-state opponent on the road, and that's the Raging Cajuns. So get to the T, get your tickets, because that matchup usually sells out. So if you want to go watch UL versus LSU at the Teague, I suggest you get them tickets as quick as possible. So that's the 10 in-state opponents they're going to face. A couple of non-conference opponents they're going to play at the box. They got also with Kent State, Dartmouth, Northeastern, Sacramento State, Creighton, and Bethune-Cookman. SEC series is they're going to play 5 at home and 5 on the road. Home series is in the SEC. They're going to host Oklahoma, Kentucky, Texas A&M, South Carolina, and Florida. And on the road in SEC play, they go play the likes of Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Georgia. So that means no Arkansas, no Alabama, no Texas. That's a steal right there. No Texas Longhorns this year. Yeah, they're going to Vanderbilt. I said they're going to Vanderbilt. No Missouri. No, what else are not playing? No Auburn? Are they playing Auburn? No, I didn't say Auburn. They're not playing Auburn. And they're not playing 8. Like, I'm having a little brain fart, but they're not playing everybody. Schedule-wise, like SEC tournament down in Hoover is going to be May 19th through the 24th. Regionals, May 29th through June 1st, if they make it that far. And Super Regionals will be June 5th through the 8th. And the College World Series in Omaha, June 12th through the 22nd of 2026. And that is your baseball schedule for LSU in 2026. As much as I love, I'm going to be counting those days when it comes. But first, let's continue with football because we're kicking ass at that. I'm ready for college basketball, despite LSU not being all that college hoops. I still love to watch my college hoops. But when that time comes and it's right, then I will be ready. Be ready for college baseball. And see if they can repeat and go back to back. Well, that's all the news I got in Tigerland. Let's continue this show and let's head out to the Big Easy. Let's go to the 504. So like I did in H-Town, I want to start on a positive note because I feel like I'm going to say more negativity. But shout out to the Green Wave of Tulane. Comeback win. They beat South Alabama 33-31 was the final. They're now undefeated, and they got a tougher opponent ahead of them. So a couple of numbers in this. I didn't even watch this game, but here's some numbers from this. And they did wear the uniforms they were supposed to wear against Northwestern. They did it on the road. In Mobile, that was the quote-unquote birthplace of Mardi Gras, so that was a perfect place to wear that. 23 first downs, 9 for 17 in third down efficiencies, 1 for 1 in fourth down, 406 total yards in this game, 165 in passing and 241 in rushing. I got to give my flowers to Jake Retzlaff at quarterback. Another outstanding performance, 13 for 24, 125 passing yards. He did get 1 touchdown pass, courtesy to Johnny Pascuzzi. He catches it for 5 yards. Even the backup, Brendan Sullivan, took some snaps. He had a perfect 3 completed for 3, only for 40 yards. Zuberi Mobley led in rushing, 11 carries for 82 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Javin Gordon had 15 carries for 80 yards. And, of course, Jake Retzlaff even had a rushing touchdown, 13 carries for 64 yards in that one. 45 total carries. 241 total rushing yards for the Green Wave. Bryce Bohannon led in receiving with 5 receptions for 62 yards. Zy Carl Lewis Jr., 2 catches for 24. Same with Anthony Miller for 21 yards. Anthony Brown Stevens, 2 catches for 19 yards. And Johnny Pascuzzi, 2 catches for 15 yards and a touchdown. On the receiving end, 16 total receptions, 165 total receiving yards. Defense, 74 total tackles, 26 solo, 1 sack, courtesy of Harvin Dyson and Gerard Henderson combined, making a sack, and 3 tackles for a loss. Green Wave are on a roll, and now they got a bigger opponent ahead of them, and it's going to be prime time, 7 o'clock kickoff on ESPN2 at Yeoman Stadium. They take on the Duke Blue Devils, who are coming off a 45-19 ass whooping to the Fighting Illini of Illinois. This will only be the 6th meeting. It's been a really long time since Tulane's beat Duke. The last was back in 1973. Now, the last time they beat them in New Orleans was in 1964. So it's been a long time coming. Tulane is starting off hot. A couple key players to watch from the Duke side. Quarterback Darian Mensah this season, he threw over 700 yards, 723 to be exact, and threw 5 touchdown passes this season. Anderson Castle leads in rushing for the Duke Blue Devils, 80 total rushing yards on 7 carries. Cooper Barkate leads in receiving for Duke, 205 total receiving yards. But Andrell Anthony has more touchdown receptions for the Duke Blue Devils this season, 3 total touchdowns this season. And linebacker Jaden Francois leads the defense for Duke at 13 tackles this season. So they're going to have their hands full. But I got faith in them. I know they can get it done. So I'm going to go off a limb and say that Tulane is going to get this win. It's going to be a close one, maybe low scoring. And my phone just died. Shit. So final score here. I want to say maybe like a 23-21 final score. I'm going to say there. Yeah, I have to excuse if I start pausing a little bit. My phone just died because I was getting ready to do some more talk, and now I'm going to have to cheat here and get some help from a former media crew I used to be a part of. Shout out to Boot Crew Media. I get some content from them. I get some like pics and infos from them. Hopefully they can help me out here. And let's see, there's one. Where's the other? Whew, here we go. All right. That's for my upcoming next segment. But anyhow, I got Tulane winning. I guess 23-21, I said. Yeah, okay. 23-21 against the Duke Blue Devils. Before I get to that other segment I was talking about, let me just get this out real quick. I'm going to bring up the New Orleans Saints real quick. They had their first game of the season. They rocked those gold jerseys. They looked fantastic with the black helmets. I think we saw this coming, but the New Orleans Saints fall to the Cardinals 20-13. It could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse, but it wasn't as bad as what people think. They had 21 first downs. They were 5 for 14 in third down efficiency, 1 for 12 in fourth down efficiency, 315 total yards in this game. Spencer Rattler is his first start in the pros, 27 for 46, 214 passing yards in the game. Alvin Kamara led in rushing, 11 carries for 45 yards. He had the only rushing touchdown of the game. 22 total carries for the offense and 107 total rushing yards for that offense. The receiving end, Jawan Johnson led in receiving. He had 8 catches for 76 yards. Would have had a touchdown catch if he would have had possession of the ball. But it wasn't the only time we got screwed in this game by the refs. And I ain't going back to 2019 with the no call. But there was one call that got called back. It would have been a touchdown. But they want to screw us over. And like I usually say, blow the whistle.
Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle.
When are they going to stop screwing this team in the dome? Come on, refs. You got to stop this, man.
And they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
It should have been a tie game. Like they could have went in overtime at one point. But anyhow, meanwhile, on the receiving end, Chris Olave had 7 catches for 54 yards. Rashid Shaheed had 6 catches for 33 yards. Brandon Cooks had 3 catches for 26 yards. 27 total receptions, 214 total receiving yards. Now, the offense, I'm going to just go off a limb and say the offense needs a lot of work done. They need to get it done quick. Now, I will credit the defense. I thought the defense did very fantastic. The first series of the game, the Cardinals went 3 and out. courtesy of that defense. Look, 70 total tackles, 43 solo, 7 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks. Courtesy of Pete Werner, Carl Granderson, Cameron Jordan, and Alante Taylor. Cameron Jordan had 2 sacks, by the way. Defense was good. I'll give Cameron Jordan his flowers for there. But now they get ready for another home game. They get ready to take on the San Francisco 49ers, which I was concerned about at first, but now the tide has kind of turned a little bit. Yeah, they're coming off a 17-13 win over the Seahawks, where in that game, Brock Purdy had 277 passing yards and 2 touchdown passes. The Niners are in some deep shit right now. Brock Purdy got 2 injuries right now. He's got a shoulder injury, and his biggest injury is his toe. And not to mention one of your top players in the game, George Kittle, he's on IR. That turns this game all the way around. I'm going to have to look, but now with those 2 injuries, I want to say the Saints have a bigger and better chance of winning this game now, coming up this Sunday. And you want to talk about a longtime former division rival in the 49ers. This will be the 80th meeting between these two. Remember, these two were once division opponents back in the past. This will be the 80th meeting. The Niners lead this, though, by a long shot. 50 wins, 27 losses, and 2 draws. Niners won 3 of the last 5. The last time they met was back in 2022, where the Niners won 13-0. The last time the Saints beat the Niners was back in 2020. 5 years ago, they won the game 27-13. Now it's a whole different game with the injuries. I'm still going to believe in them. I still believe in Who Dat Nation and the Saints. I think the Saints get the win. What will the score be? That's going to be a good one. Did I even give a score for the Texans and the Bucks? Let me get back with you on that. I will just say the Saints will win the game, but while I think about that, while we continue to move on, here's my new segment. I want to talk about Around the Boot. Let's see what else happened around the state of Louisiana in college before we get to some other talk. Despite the teams I covered, let's talk about some others. Southern University, they fall on the road 30-7 to Alabama State. Southeastern got a win at home over Murray State 45-24. And I need to report 3 murders that happened around the country. 3 shutout murders, by the way. Northwestern State gets decimated 66-0 by the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Grambling, the most famous and iconic HBCU, not just from our state, but of all time, they go to the Horseshoe and get slaughtered 70-0 by those Ohio State Buckeyes. And UL Monroe, unfortunately, they did not get stuck in the past like it's 2007. They're still in the present day. They got slaughtered by the Crimson Tide 73-0. And Alabama's talking big, bad shit like, oh, we're back, baby. You basically beat a high school team. You didn't prove shit. Get back. Get back. Get back. Y'all gonna be in a rude awakening when y'all play Georgia next week. And finally, Nichols loses to West Georgia 34-10. What we got coming up around the boot this week for college football? We'll start with Southern. Southern goes on the road. They take on Fresno State. They head out west. I'm going to have to pick Fresno State on that one. Southeastern is back. I think is this their first or second home game? I'm not sure. I think it's got to be their first home game. Because I know I made an error when I did a pick on some. I thought I said Southeastern was on the road and this other team was on the road. I'm going to go correct that mistake. I know the other team I said was Nichols. So, yeah, Southeastern was at Murray State. Nichols was at home with West Georgia. So, yeah, this will be Southeastern's home opener at Strawberry Stadium. You're going to pack that house and wear the green and gold. Southeastern's taking on Mississippi Valley State. So be there for that. UL Monroe, they go way far out in Texas. They go to El Paso to take on UTEP. Grambling is at home. They're taking on Kentucky State. This I forgot what their mascot is, but it's an HBCU. They take on Kentucky State. Louisiana Tech is at home this Saturday. They take on New Mexico State. Nichols is on a bye week. And lastly, Northwestern State hits the road again. They go to Cincinnati to play the Bearcats of the Big 12. So with that being said, I gave my thoughts on Southeastern. They're going to lose. Southeastern could win. I got Southeastern beating Mississippi Valley State. UL Monroe at UTEP. It's kind of a toss-up, but you know what? I'm going to go with UTEP. Grambling, I got them winning at home over Kentucky State. I got Louisiana Tech winning at home over New Mexico State, and I got Northwestern State falling to Cincinnati. So that's all I got for Around the Boot. Well, let's see what else happened in the sporting world. But I'm going to run these as quick as possible. A little college football week 2 recap. Man, what some shit happened this weekend, buddy. We saw some holy shit moments. We saw some upsets. We saw some comeback wins. Shout out to the Baylor Bears. Comeback win over SMU. Probably one of the best games I watched this season. The Cy-Hawk Trophy. Iowa State and Iowa. Hell of a game. Iowa State they're my pick to win they're going to be my pick to win the Big 12. Oregon decimated Oklahoma State. Fresno State proves they belong in the Pac-12. They got the win over Oregon State. The upset, South Florida upsetting Florida. Army upsetting Kansas State. How about this? Mississippi State. I will give them their flowers. They beat Arizona State. They rushed the field. And of course, they got fined for it. I wonder if Florida State got fined for rushing the field against Alabama. Did Nicholls State get fined for winning their first game in 3 years? I bet you they didn't. It's always the SEC they got to target, because I have not seen one thing about Northwestern State or Florida State getting fined for rushing the field. But yes, another SEC team bites the dust, having to pay a massive fine for rushing the field.
Now, isn't that a load of horse shit?
It's like the SEC is pointing a gun at our head saying, oh, you can't have no fun. You're not supposed to have fun.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes. No.
No?
Sir. Well, it was fun.
Not anymore, though, is it? Is it?
No, not by
No, it's not fun anymore.
No.
Not even a little bit.
No.
Make up your mind.
No.
Think. Since you're thinking now, go on. Think.
No,
Is
no.
it fun?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Absolutely not?
Zero fun, sir.
All right. Let's.
Let the SEC have their moments. Like, Mississippi State hadn't had a winning season in God knows how long. They get a big win like this, and yes, them cowbells. I can't get that ringing out of my head. But credits to them for winning, and the SEC wants to try and piss people off even more. And what else does the SEC do?
They rip your heart out of your ass.
Shout out to Mississippi State. We're better than y'all. But other than that, that was just some shocking news that happened there. So that's a little quick recap of what happened in college football. NFL Week 1 recap, man. Whoo, I got some shit for y'all on this one. Let's start with what a way to start the season. The Eagles-Cowboys game started chaotic. Jalen Carter spitting in Dak Prescott's face. He gets ejected from the game. He gets suspended 2 games, including that one, plus this coming Sunday's game. He gets fined over $57,000. The NFL has been getting soft lately. But what does Dak Prescott get as a punishment? He spat first. But you know what? I figured out what his punishment was. He's playing for the Cowboys. He's playing for Jerry Jones. As long as Jerry Jones is still the GM of that team and whatever else title he got, he's not going to win shit anyway. So that just about makes it even.
You answer me when I ask you, who is your daddy? Who's your daddy, Gary? Who's your daddy? You. Uh-huh. And whose team is this? Is this your team? Or is this your daddy's team?
Yours.
Mm-hmm.
That's Jerry Jones right there. Full proof. As long as he's, like I said, as long as he's there, they're not going to win shit. Great game. What else? Travis Kelce got bitch slapped in Brazil. I'm shocked he didn't get banned from the freaking NFL. Oh, you can't hit Prince Travis. Not before the freaking Royal NFL winning of the century. Oh, shut the fuck up.
Off is the direction you can fuck.
Chargers did win that game, by the way. So Kansas City's dead last in the division right now. See, the Colts murdered the Miami Dolphins. Aaron Rodgers and the motherfucking Steelers put on a classic with Jalen. Did I say Jalen Hurts? No, not Jalen Hurts. Justin Fields and the New York Jets. That was a hell of a game there, too. What else happened? Oh, we had a couple nail biters. Bengals, Browns was a nail biter. Bengals came and won that. Tampa Bay with the win, courtesy of Young Waku, missing a chip field goal to win that one. Bo Nix and the Broncos kicking ass. The Green Bay Packers is a team to watch. That defense is fire with Micah Parsons now. And we saw the game of the season, and it was only week 1. The Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens put on an instant classic. We thought it was all over with Baltimore up 40-25. And the Bills was like, hold my beer. Let me rephrase that. Everyone thought it was over when the Ravens were up 40-25. Buffalo Bill turned his head and was like,
a bullshit, a bullshit, a bullshit, a bullshit.
Yep, because they came back and won that game 41-40. Hell of a fucking game there. Enjoyed it. And then I was a little bit shocked Monday night. J.J. McCarthy might be another guy to watch. Vikings pulled it off against the Bears. Hell of a week 1, and we're getting ready for week 2 tomorrow. It's going to be an exciting week. So let's go ahead and get these predictions ready and close this out, which I also have one more thing I want to cover, too, before we get done with the predictions. So with that being said, let's go ahead. We'll start with college football. Let's get these week 3 predictions in. And by the way, all predictions are presented by Rogue Energy, the #1 sports gaming drink in America and proud sponsor of On The Go. Go to rogueenergy.com, use my promo code OTG to get 10% off. Yes, same. That's going to be the promo code for that and Poggers. That's the promo code. That's the magic promo code, by the way. All right, week 3, college football predictions. Let's go ahead and quickly run these. Let's see. We got North Carolina State at Wake Forest. 119th meeting between these two in-state rivals. Both teams split the last 10. But I'm going to go with I can't believe I didn't even write these down yet. I'm going to go with the Wolfpack. I'm going with NC State to win over the Demon Deacons. Kansas State at Arizona. This one's kind of a toss-up because, Kansas State already got 2 losses. They're 1-2. They lost to Iowa State, and then they got upset by Army. You think they would want to bounce back and fire back. A potential team could have been a Big 12 contender, but I'm kind of having second thoughts about that. This could be a game they could bounce back and win, but you know what? I think Kansas State's done. I'm going to take Arizona in this one. I'm going with the Wildcats. Clemson at Georgia Tech. All eyes are going to be on this. This is the 89th meeting. Georgia Tech, I can't believe they lead this rivalry. 50-36-2. Clemson's won 9 in a row, but Clemson was on a hot seat with Troy. They almost blew it to Troy, and Troy came back and win. So that makes me wonder, can Georgia Tech pull this off? We saw what they did with Florida State last year. But I don't know. That would put Dabo in the hot seat. But you know what? I'm gonna just go with my gut and say Clemson wins this game. I'm going with Clemson. Wisconsin and Alabama. Look, all I'm gonna say is it's an 11 a.m. kickoff. God forbid if Bama loses the second game right now. I mean, that would be hilarious as hell. That would put Kalen DeBoer out of that hot seat. But I don't know how good this team really is, this Wisconsin team. So I'm just going to give this one to Alabama. But God forbid, watch next week. When they go into SEC play, I think it's over. They got Georgia next week. Georgia's going to fucking run them over down in Athens, Georgia. Speaking of Georgia, the College Game Day is coming to this SEC rivalry. Georgia at Tennessee. College Game Day will be at Rocky Top, Knoxville. 55th meeting between these two. Georgia's won that last 8. Tennessee last win at home was 10 years ago against this team. But Georgia's hot. Georgia's the favorite. I mean, Tennessee could probably find a way to win it, but I think Georgia's the favorite, but I'm going with Georgia to win this one. I'm going with the Georgia Bulldogs. Oregon State and Texas Tech. First meeting since 1959. The Red Raiders are kind of a dark horse team in the Big 12, so you know what? I'm going with Texas Tech. Going with the Red Raiders. USC at Purdue. I've been seeing this game getting advertised a lot on Fox, so it must be a must-see game to watch. I don't know really the. How about this? You want to hear a crazy story? The last time USC and Purdue played each other, real talk, Drew Brees was the quarterback at Purdue. Back in 98, that was the last time these teams played each other. And Drew Brees was in college, and he played USC. But, hey, we've seen Purdue pull off some upsets at home. But I'm not too sure about this one. USC's been hot lately. I'm going to go with USC. South Florida, can they make lightning strike twice? Now they go to Miami to play the Hurricanes. The only time they ever beat Miami was in 2010, but Miami's a good team. Carson Beck at quarterback. I got to go with the Miami Hurricanes. It was nice they got that win over the Florida Gators, but I don't think they could pull it against the Hurricanes. A couple of good SEC teams and showdowns here. Let's start with this one. Arkansas at Ole Miss. This rivalry. It's at the Grove. It's at Von Hemingway. I got Ole Miss over Arkansas. Texas A&M at Notre Dame. Remember, this was a game of the week last year. Notre Dame is just they're dominant. Like, they're gonna beat the hell out of A&M. I don't see this even being close at all. I got Notre Dame at home. Watch this one. This could be like a sneaky game to watch here. Vanderbilt at South Carolina. You got Diego Pavia versus Lenore Sellers. Two good quarterbacks. South Carolina, though, has won 16 in a row against Vandy. Vandy hasn't beaten South Carolina and Columbia since 2007. Don't be surprised, but it's in Columbia. I'm going with the Gamecocks. I'm going with Lenore Sellers. No disrespect to Diego Pavia. He beat Alabama and Auburn the same year, a year ago. And we got to play them again this year in Nashville, too. Minnesota at Cal. I'm going to go with Minnesota. And then lastly, you got Texas State and Arizona State. Arizona State, they got to be red hot after that loss to Mississippi State. So, Texas State trying to hang with the big boys, especially when they go to the Pac-12 in the future. So give me Arizona State bounce back win over the Bobcats. All right, now let's get to some NFL predictions for week 2. I know you guys are ready for this one. So that being said, we got a big one tomorrow night. Must-see watch. You got Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders taking on Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. Got to watch that Packers defense, like I said. Micah Parsons, he's turning that team around. This is going to be a hell of a fight. Hell of a dogfight. But it's at Lambeau. Give me the Packers. 49ers at the Saints. Like I said, 49ers now got George Kittle on IR. Brock Purdy's dealing with 2 injuries. Most likely will not play Sunday. This could be a good bounce-back game for the Saints, and now things have turned around. So you know what? I got the Saints winning. I'm going to say 17-7. How about that? I find a way the 49ers get on the board, but I'm going to say 17-7 Saints. Rams at the Titans. Cam Ward's first home game. Rams coming off that shitty game over the Texans. I got the Rams winning on the road. Jags and the Bengals. I love when we get a Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow matchup. It's in Cincinnati. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals. Browns at the Ravens, a little division rivalry. You know the Ravens are still upset about that loss with the Bills. It's their home opener too, so give me Baltimore easily at home. Bills at the Jets, a little New York in-state rivalry. I think Jets can put up a fight, but I got the Buffalo Bills winning this one. Patriots at the Dolphins. Look, I'm going to give a big fuck you to New England. Because of you, I didn't win my fucking parlay in FanDuel. But you win this game because the Miami Dolphins are trash. They are shit. They are potentially going to be the worst team in the NFL. Even worse than the Saints. I got the Patriots winning on the road against the Dolphins. Giants and the Cowboys. Yeah, the Cowboys played a little better with Jalen Carter being suspended, and Dak Prescott and his offense was very impressive last week. As much as I don't like this team, but why do I feel like they're going to win at home? It's their home. It's the home opener. Even though they're not going to really go nowhere down the road, I'll take the Cowboys over the Giants. If they're still relying on Russell Wilson at quarterback, I feel like the Giants won't be as good as they say they're going to be until Jackson Dart starts taking the snaps for them. Bears and the Lions, both teams one's coming off a heartbreaking loss. The other one's coming off of an ass whooping. But it's in Detroit. The Lions play better at home. Give me the Lions over the Bears. Seahawks and the Steelers. I'm not going to question Aaron Rodgers anymore. I got the Steelers at home over the Seahawks. Broncos and the Colts. Bo Nix, baby. Yes, I will give Colts their flower. Yeah, BGB didn't fucking play nobody. Daniel Jones and the Colts ran. Anybody's going to run over Miami this year. But you're not going to run over Bo Nix. No way y'all going to stop that. That defense is going to even let y'all score. Colts will be lucky if they get any points on the board. I see this as a shutout, by the way. Broncos win in a shutout win. I don't know what. Maybe like a 21-0, 27-0. Something like that. Panthers at the Cardinals. This will be my toilet bowl of the week because the Cardinals did not really look impressive against the Saints. Panthers are still dog shit, but it's the Cardinals home opener in the Nest. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. This is my game of the week. Super Bowl rematch. Eagles, Chiefs at Arrowhead. I feel like this is going to be redemption for the Kansas City Chiefs. After getting embarrassed in the Super Bowl, plus you don't have Jalen Carter playing, plus it's your home opener, and it's probably the big congratulation party for Taylor and Travis. Oh, Kansas City is going to make sure the refs are going to make sure the Chiefs win this game. So I got Kansas City winning at home. Sunday Night Football. Michael Penix Jr. and the Atlanta Falcons taking on J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings were impressive. Falcons are fuck the Falcons. They might be the favorite, but you know what? I'm picking the Vikings. I got the Vikings at home Sunday night. And then Monday Night Football, we're getting a doubleheader. One game on ESPN. The other one I think is ABC. I don't think they're both on ESPN, but one game. First game, you got Baker Mayfield coming back to his home state. Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. Texans are the worst team in the NFL right now. Hopefully they can finally get a touchdown this season on the board, but I got Tampa Bay winning on the road. Final score. I'll say 31-10. 31-10 Bucks. It's going to be an ass whooping. And then finally, we close out Monday night, second half of Monday Night Football, a division rivalry. Justin Herbert and the LA Chargers taking on Geno Smith and the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders had a lucky win over the Patriots. Chargers, you better watch them. Could be a potential division champ and a playoff contender. Jim Harbaugh's cooking in LA. Give me the Chargers on the road against the Raiders. That's all the football talk I have. But just one more thing real quick. I'm going to make this as quick as possible. With all the action we got this weekend with football and whatnot, even baseball, We got a big fight this Saturday in Vegas. They're calling it the fight of the century. Canelo versus Crawford. Who you guys got in this one? Holy shit, this is going to be a hell of a fight. So big, it's going to be in Allegiant Stadium too, by the way. What are their records here? Let's see. Canelo is 63-2 in 39 knockouts. Crawford's undefeated. He's 41-0, 31 knockouts. This is going to... Ooh, what you guys got in this one? And it's on Netflix too, so you ain't got to order this on pay-per-view. It's on Netflix. That's the best part. So all that college football I'm going to be watching, I'm going to have to get another TV installed just to watch this fight. Yeah, I mean, I'm occasionally going to talk about big boxing fights or whatnot. I haven't talked about a boxing fight on a stream since Jake Paul and Mike Tyson from last year. What else we got on the card here? I'm going to look at the main card here. Let's see. We got Colin Walsh and Fernando Vargas Jr., Christian Mabili and Lester Martinez, Muhammad Alakel, and Travis Kent Crawford. That's the main card you'll see on Netflix. The prelims on YouTube, we got Sergio Boachuk versus Brandon Adams, Ivan Daichko versus Jermaine Franklin, Rito Tetsunami versus Javier Martinez, Sultan Al-Mohammed versus Martin Caraballo, Steven Nelson versus Raiko Santana, and Marco Verde versus Marcos Osorio Betancourt. That's the prelims you can watch on YouTube. But there will be some other fights. They got a card for the public workout that was today. Then they got something tomorrow, which I'm not going to worry about those. I just focused on the main card right there. So who you guys got? Y'all going with Canelo or y'all going with Crawford? That's going to be a hell of a fight. I'm definitely going to bring up on this show next week. But that's going to wrap up tonight's episode. I kept this one for about an hour and a half. That's probably the longest I've ever done solo. But thank y'all again for tuning in. Again, this show is presented by POGGERS, the official vitamin supplement of On The Go. Again, go to shop.poggers.shop. Use my promo code OTG to get 10% off. There it is right there. Also, Rogue Energy as well. If you need energy, hydration, or chill, go to rogueenergy.com. Use that same code right there, OTG, to get 10% off. Driving to the Top Productions, of course, be sure to check these guys out. Great guys, great content, great shows, great everything. Driving to the Top, you can find on X. Subscribe to them on YouTube. Follow them on Facebook, everywhere. And yes, with how tragic this day was, hopefully I brought some light to you guys with everything that happened. Just remember, just be sure when you wake up first thing in the morning to count your blessings and thank God for another day. And remember, never forget what happened in 2001 tomorrow. And enjoy the rest of your weekend. God bless America. God bless you all. Y'all stay safe out there. Enjoy your football weekend. And I will catch you guys next Wednesday. Same time, same place, right here. Peace.